Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 2 of chapter 1. So, what is sincerity? What is sincerity in mind? To put it simple, it means a feeling, a true feeling, an honest feeling. And in the Great Learning, it says,
Sincerity in mind means not deceiving oneself. It is natural, just like man tending to feel disgusted at bad smell and being pleased with beautiful things. This is called self-contentment. Therefore, Dreams must be watchful over himself when he is alone.
what does it mean not deceiving ourselves? And we may have some sense about cheating others sometimes, and we have developed more sense about being cheated by others. So we seldom focus on this self-deception, that means deceiving yourself. On most occasions, we have nowhere to set our heart. Our heart is lost. Then, in the Great Learning, it continues the following sentence.
A petty man sets no limit on his bad behavior in private, but when in front of Junzi, he tries to disguise himself, concealing his bad behavior and demonstrating his good one. However, there's no point of being deceitful, because people can see through him as if they could clearly see his liver and reins. This is called what truly is within can be manifested without. Therefore, Junzi must be watchful over himself even when he is alone.
So 慎独 is the most difficult thing for one to practice. So even if we are alone, we need to be mindful or be careful about our behavior. And even if with others, we do not arise any desires. So these desires, that is something that generate impure kind of mind.
Then, on the basis of this 慎独, Zhenzi, in his conclusion, it illustrates what is keep his mind sincere. He said, how fearful it is when many eyes are on you and many fingers are pointing at you. Richness adores a house and virtue adores a person. Make your mind expansive and body at ease. Therefore, Junzi must keep his mind sincere.
Be watchful on one's behavior when one is alone. It's not an easy thing to do. Man has no way out except to be cautious of his behavior when he's alone. So it's like what Zhu Xi says about this li, the principle, and the substance. He was saying that if you have an impure li, that means he may be foolish and degenerate, as if a pearl lay concealed in muddy water. So the muddy water is impure qi. So one must get rid of the impediment of this cloudy qi and recapture one's original nature. So it's like it mentions the 4 roots of the heart. So he emphasized that if one could but realize that it is a human desire that thus obscures his true nature, he would be enlightened. So this is a very important and help us to understand what are the things in our nature that stop us from doing something good. So that is a desire. It's like our nature, in Zhu Xi's term, is this li, the principle. Originally, it should be pure. But how? Why? Because the pure pearl was covered, concealed in the muddy water. So we need to cleanse it, and we need to keep this purity of our nature. And then let's come to the high level of this interpretation of this sincerity. Sincerity in the metaphysical mind. So no matter whether it is translated into the true or sincere, so this Chen, sincerity, not only pointed to a human reality, but also the ground of man's identification with heaven. So this seems to imply that which enables a person to fully realize himself and to understand heaven is inherent in his own nature. So like a couple of sentences in the Doctrine of the Mean, it says,
Sincerity is a way of heaven, and the striving for it is a way of man. He who strives for sincerity is one who knows what is good and holds fast to it.
So it's due to the educational teaching that discover the sincerity in our nature and nurture it and develop it to the fullest. So this sentence in Doctrine of the Mean, it says, what heaven imparts to man is called human nature. To follow human nature is called the way. To cultivate the way is called teaching or education. So you see that although we have in this innate nature endowed from the heaven, and we still need to nurture it, to educate it. That means to help us to get more enlightenment and to rediscover this nature. And although our nature is imparted from heaven, it is our duty as human beings to cultivate the way in order to have this heaven-endowed nature. And then another question is that since we acknowledge that the sincerity belongs to our nature, so such a nature endowed from the heaven, so we assume that the world, the heaven, is moral. So our nature should have this moral quality. And also, as a human beings, we should take our initiative to get involved in the transformation and nourishment of the nature. So there's a sentence in Doctrine of the Train. It says,
only one who is completely sincere can fully develop his nature. If he is able to fully develop his nature, he can help fully develop the nature of others. If he is able to fully develop the nature of others, he can fully develop the nature of myriad creatures. If he is able to fully develop the nature of myriad creatures, he can assist in the transforming and nourishing process of heaven and earth. If he is able to assist in the transforming and nourishing process of heaven and earth, he may thus form a unity with heaven and earth.
So we can understand that only when the unity of the man and heaven and earth is formed can we discover, explore the essence of this sincerity. We can understand sincerity belongs to our nature. How can we always keep this consciousness about our innate nature? Here, sincerity. How about the heart? It says, when we make our mind or thought sincere, we need to correct our heart. So if we do not set our heart right, there's no possibility for us to cultivate ourselves. So our heart should keep in a state of tranquility and calmness.
Before delight, anger, sadness, and happiness are expressed, the mind is in a state of equilibrium. Once they are expressed, yet in a moderate way, the mind is in the state of harmony. So this equilibrium is the essence of all creatures, and this harmony is the universal principle followed by all creatures. So in the state of equilibrium and harmony, heaven and earth are in a proper order, and myriad creatures flourish.
So this is about emotions. This is all about our heart. So our heart should not be disturbed by some emotions.
The cultivation of oneself lies in the correction of heart. When you are angry, you cannot be correct. When you are frightened, you cannot be correct. When there is something you desire, you cannot be correct. When there is something you are anxious about, you cannot be correct. So when the mind is not present, we look but do not see. We listen but do not hear. We eat but do not taste our food. This is the meaning of the cultivation of oneself, lies in the correction of heart.
So it is true. If we do not have our heart, and we look but we do not see, we listen but do not hear. So if you want to develop or cultivate yourself, you need to correct your heart. Of course, the correction of the heart is based on your sincerity in your mind. So self-cultivation will be the main topic of the next chapter. So to conclude, let's see. Since fear and lust and material desires and greed all lead to wrong hearts, so we should strengthen our heart from sincerity and keep them right all the time. So Wang Yangming believed that the essence of the mind is all right, starting from this idea that there is a wrong. So this idea, some very distracting thoughts, some thoughts about some selfish thoughts. So he was saying the essence of the mind is the supreme good and no evil. But because the idea is launched, it is easy to generate various desires. So all of them need to go through the investigation of things, to remove the evil and good, so as to achieve the realm of sincerity. So sincerity and the correction of the heart, and they are both important, and sincerity in mind goes first, and then correction of the heart, and then self-cultivation. Without sincerity in your mind, without a correction of the heart, there's no way for you to develop yourself. So that's the end of today's episode. Thank you for being with me.